evening. You're watching CNN News 18. This is Plain Speak with me, Poonam Burde. We're coming to you live from the CNN News 18 Primetime Studio, presented by Green Lamb Laminates. The Allu Arjun saga has taken several dramatic turns since the stampede in Sandhya Theatre on the 4th of December. From his arrest to his release, from the bail to the charges that have been traded between the actor and the state government. On Saturday, the Pushpa actor addressed an impromptu press conference and alleged that character assassination was taking place. There was a lot of misinformation that was surrounding him was being done by a certain ecosystem, he said. He claimed his 20 years worth of credibility and respect was sabotaged in just one day. Is there merit in that allegation though? The state government from day one has maintained that he was to blame for the stampede that claimed one life and that has put a child in harm's way who's still recuperating in the hospital because Allu Arjun, the actor, threw caution to the wind. Now, the dramatic escalation of events has not been sudden. Tensions have been brewing in Hyderabad since the release of the movie Pushpa 2 The Rule. It all began on the 4th of December when actor Allu Arjun attended a special screening of his movie at the Sandhya Theatre. What was meant to be a surprise for fans soon took an ugly turn after the actor arrived at the venue. What the police claims is that he had no permission. The gates of the theatre could not hold the surging crowds. It soon led to a stampede at the venue, leaving one person dead. 2 days later, the actor released a video. He expressed grief over the tragedy that unfolded there. He even pledged to cover all medical expenses for the family of the victim, the child who is still in the hospital. The tragedy sent shockwaves across the country, with anger only mounting over it and over the high-handedness of the police if they were not prepared. Allu Arjun found himself in a legal case. There was an FIR that was registered against him and the management of the Sandhya Theatre. They were all accused of culpable homicide not amounting to murder and voluntarily causing grievous hurt. 7 days later, the actor was arrested by the police, however, was let off on bail by the Telangana High Court for at least 4 weeks. A day later, there was, though, a night that Allu Arjun had to spend in jail because the papers reached the jail authorities and the superintendent much later. The Telangana High Court back then had observed in its order that the right of liberty cannot be denied just because he is an actor. The court further noted that no malified action was associated with Allu Arjun. However, the situation escalated last evening after a group of protesters pelted stones at the actor's residence and vandalized his property. 6 people were arrested for that vandalism. They were all let out on bail on surety of 10,000 rupees as well. Now, there is another twist to the tale. There is CCTV footage that was released by the Hyderabad police over this weekend. In this visual, you can see this is right after the stampede happened, about 2 hours or so. Allu Arjun, the actor, was seen leaving the theatre around 11:45 p.m. on the day, which was the 4th of December. The police claimed that the actor refused to leave the theatre even after he was told about the overwhelming crowds outside. He insisted on watching the film, but however was forced to leave the premises as the situation spiraled out of hand. The police also said that we had informed him about the stampede that took place at about 9:30 right then, but he refused to leave and instead went inside the theatre. A charge, of course, Allu Arjun has denied. Now, the entire fallout of this episode has reached Allu Arjun's doorstep quite literally. Some persons holding placards in their hands suddenly rushed to the residence of the actor in Jubilee Hills yesterday. They started sloganeering. One of them even mounted the compound and started throwing tomatoes and stones. The man handled the security personnel. They damaged some flower pots before eventually they were overpowered by the security guards. But what has turned heads is an alleged political link to that vandalism. Upping the ante against the Congress, both the BJP and the BRS have alleged that the attack at Allu Arjun's residence is what they claim is state-sponsored. The Congress, however, has refuted that charge. They claim that the opposition is only supporting this accused celebrity, is what the state called him, for political gains. BJP and BRS allege that the actor is being targeted by the Revanth Reddy government after he refused to campaign for the Congress party. Hitting right back, the Congress countered it by calling it nothing but political drama by both of their rivals. Doubling down on the attack, the BJP and BRS even released a picture of one of the accused, Reddy Srinivas, with Telangana Chief Minister. The accused is a Congress leader. He's a youth Congress president from Kodangal. He's also contested a 2019 Zilla Parishad elections on a Congress ticket. But the Congress turned around and said, but look where he came from. It was the BRS that initially had him, from which he turned over to the Congress's side. In fact, the Congress went on to say that this particular accused is the disciple of KTR and called this allegation against the Congress party and the state government nothing but an attempt to defame them. Now, even as these charges fly thick and fast, it all comes down to a fierce face-off between the actor and the state government. The question really remains, and what we want to ask here on Plain Speak is that, is this political targeting of Allu Arjun?
మా ఇంటి బయట జరిగింది అంతా చూశారు మీరు. కానీ ప్రస్తుతం
going and then attacking is not acceptable. This kind of attitude by the Revanth Reddy government and the Telangana police is not acceptable.
We are not going to encourage anybody who would be doing that sort of thing. Definitely we would like to condemn, and action will be taken according to law.
Let's open this up. Ravula Reddy, senior leader of the BRS. Srinivas Reddy, spokesperson of the Congress, is with us. Kasturi Shankar, an actor, will be joining us shortly. Deshadan Nigam, a lawyer and political analyst, is with us as well. Let me begin by asking Srinivas Reddy, this man who is accused of pelting stones and tomatoes at Allu Arjun's residence, is he a part of the Congress or not?
Good evening, Poonam. He is not part of the Congress party, and the party has got nothing to do with what this person has done. It is a clear-cut case of damaging the image of the party here in the state. And he appears to have taken photographs with the chief minister, which is being projected by the opposition parties. And that looks like a function, because any political leader would definitely take a photograph with someone who is coming over there. And the same way, there are photographs of the same person with the TRS leader, Mr. KTR also. That doesn't mean or imply that he is from the Congress. Our Congress has sponsored this thing, as is being told by almost all the opposition parties right now.
So are you saying he's not linked with the Congress party now, or that he's never been? Is it not true that he did fight a local body election on a Congress ticket?
He is not linked to the Congress party as of now. The CM has very clearly and very openly condemned the incident immediately after that has taken place, because there is no scope for any person in a democracy to go against any person, to do vandalism, do rioting, housebreaking. All these things cannot be tolerated and will not be tolerated in this government.
Ravula Reddy, he may have contested elections on a Congress ticket, but the Congress has nothing to do with this man as of this moment, as of 2024. It's just all a political witch hunt against the Congress by the BRS and the BJP combined, is the allegation they make.
No, not only on this Reddy Srinivas, there are 4 other guys whose photographs are there with Congress party top brass. Now, where from this has actually happened? Now you should look at the incidents. The police booked a case on Allu Arjun. He was arrested, then he was released on a bail. After that, when matter is subjudiced, Honorable Chief Minister delivered a lengthy speech in Assembly for close to 1.5 hours on one film actor who is accused in one of the cases on the stampede. Then film actor again explained his version, followed by this particular incident of attack. Now, what I'm questioning is, what is the need for the Chief Minister to go on saying, rather go on delivering speeches in Assembly when the matter was subjudiced? This is actually provocated. I don't know who these guys are. Their photographs are there with Congress party. One of the guys, that Reddy Srinivas, he has a photo with KTR, he has a photo with Revanth Reddy also. But that particular person is elected youth Congress leader in their party, one of the guys. So end of the day, the speech of the Chief Minister and many statements by the Congress party leaders has rather provoked this group of people in the name of OUJSC, went and attacked the actors' residence. Now Congress party is claiming, this is a blame game, BRS is doing this and all that. You gave the scope for them to do this. And attacks, vandalisms, violence is not, not at all accepted. This is not correct, and there's no space for this kind of acts in our society. And once the matter is subjudice, when the police is doing their job, what is the need for these things, basically? Is Congress supporting such attacks on them? Whether it is a film star or anybody for that matter, you will have their family members in the home, and creating such a havoc and terror is not at all acceptable. This is not. I mean, these incidents actually today become a talk in the entire country and showing Telangana is poor plight, which is not correct. And the government should have maintained proper restraints. Rather, Honorable Chief Minister would have maintained some restraints. See,
Sure.
at some level, at your level, when a Chief Minister speaks on these things, definitely they will have impact. I am not trying to accuse directly, but at higher levels, at higher positions, we should have proper kind of, rather whatever, when you deliver such speeches, it's utmost important.
But
that
he was
you keep
surprising
it
the state assembly. Deshada Nigam, you can come in here as well. Is there something wrong in what the chief minister did? He was apprising the state assembly of what had happened. There were certain comments that were made by him, which according to the BRS, perhaps egged on these people to take law into their own hands.
Well, Poonam, in fact, when the matter has been taken by the court in their own hands and the police had taken action, registered a case, I think it should have been appropriate not to make any comments to, by which anybody can be instigated. That is the first principle. Even the courts have made a statement in their order that Mr. Arjun had a right to liberty and there was no malafide. And to maintain law and order is a job of the government. It is their absolute duty to ensure that the law and order is maintained. In this case, it appears, and this will be established by the inquiry, investigation, and trial, who was at fault, because there are statements and counter statements from various sides and parties. And therefore, it is required that political parties should shy away from such kind of comments making and let the courts do their own job. And it certainly appears that this case has certain political connotations of the past Mr. Allu Arjun being a part of it or not a part of it being in the campaign. These are all questions that would be gone into by the court. And therefore, at this point of time, I think a lot of restraint is required, as was done by Mr. Allu Arjun's family, which made a statement with a lot of self-restraint. And secondly, it is absolutely important for Telangana to ensure their actors who have a huge appeal, an all-India appeal. Mr. Allu Arjun and others also have an all-India appeal, and they are very successful actors, and they bring a lot of revenue to their own state. And if you attack their actors, your revenue and economy will suffer. So you have to stand with your actors, and that's a very unfortunate incident that has happened. And I'm sure the states it will be a guiding lesson for a state in the future to ensure that when the actors are going, to ensure law and order, because people will come. They are so popular, the huge crowds will come. And it has to be managed, and there has to be a proper coordination with the actors and their managers and team. And whether it was there or not, it is to be seen. However, these actors, again, I'm reiterating, bring huge amount of revenue for the state. Having an all-India appeal from north, south, east, and west. I am a huge fan of Allu Arjun, but despite that, the fact remains that an unfortunate incident happens, and which requires an impartial trial by the court, which it will do. However, let us not, give any kind of color to it, and people must refrain from making political comments on this subject.
Matter is sub judice, and let the courts decide. Srinivas Reddy, while all of this is happening, apart from the comments, there's also a video that was put out by the police, the CCTV footage of Allu Arjun being escorted out. Now, Allu Arjun says that when I was asked to leave, that's when I got up and left. I didn't even know that somebody had died. I only found out the next morning. But the state government says that he refused to leave, and we had to actually push him out at some point because the crowd was so unmanageable.
Yes.
But there was still a 2-hour gap in that. If the crowd was this unmanageable after the stampede had actually happened, after somebody had lost their lives, For 2 hours, the actor was still inside. So if he had to be forced and pushed out, could it have been done even earlier?
Actually, Poonam, first of all, I would like to answer to the point of the CM's address in the assembly. The chief minister himself has not taken up this subject on his own and started discussing on that. The topic was raised in the assembly, so the chief minister, being also holding the home portfolio, had to answer this issue, and that is the reason that he had to give all the reasons about this subject. And as far as Allu Arjun being an actor, yesterday's case that these people vandalizing his house, both the subjects are matter of law and order in the state. Whether it is the stampede which has been caused by Allu Arjun's presence in the theater or the vandalism which has taken place at his house, definitely are issues which are which damage the reputation of the state, as well as the law and order situation cannot be left easily. So when there is a law and order situation, the government, the police has to step in and definitely use their discretion and file cases against, whether it is Allu Arjun, whether he is an actor. We did not discriminate there, nor yesterday when these people, the so-called OUJAC, as they call themselves, have come and vandalized the actor's house. They have also not been spared, and they were arrested, and they have also been booked under various cases, sections of the BNS. And there are some bailable and non-bailable cases sections also in that. And
sure.
Today morning they were produced before the court, and the court, because it's the discretion of the court for which we cannot say anything. The discretion
sure.
of the judge, he has given a bail on that.
Sure.
And,
what the court decided to do is
as regards the video which was issued by the police commissioner, immediately after the CM's reply to a question in the assembly, I would like to put it straight. The CM's reply to a question in the assembly, Mr. Allu Arjun, he could have also maintained restraint. He has called for a huge press conference and started talking. When the matter is sub judice, a question is raised in the assembly, it is the responsibility of the chief minister to answer. He has answered. Where was the need for Allu Arjun to come and address a press?
He's well within his rights to respond to allegations made against him as well. If the chief minister was answering a query,
the CM himself has not gone. And the police department, because he has said that I just immediately went out as soon as the police said, soon after some time, that he has left the theater. Then the police, as you said, it is well within their rights also to show that what they are saying is not wrong. The police department has also given the video that what they are saying is also not wrong. Because if Allu Arjun
but the timing of it is all suspect. That's the reason that it all comes on the day when this vandalism and this sort of violence happens outside his residence. And it's not just him that we're talking about. There are several other family members who also perhaps were inside.
The vandalism is highly objectionable. It cannot be, a Congress party has no link to the vandalism which has happened at Allu Arjun's house. The chief minister has condemned that very, very, very clearly. And as regards the law and order at his house or law and order situation in and around the security of his house is concerned, they have taken care of that right now. But we cannot,
So, Ravula Reddy, you cannot make political connotations on this. The chief minister was answering a query. The police was well within their rights to release this video. And in fact, when they did put out that CCTV and when questions were raised of what the intent was, the top cop actually said, now that's for you to decipher, to the media people.
No. Actually, it was Allu Arjun who has started the subject. If the chief minister has, he has been questioned in the assembly.
Sure. Ravula Reddy, yes.
He needs to reply to that. When he has replied to
Ravula
that,
Reddy, the Congress says that there are no political, there shouldn't be any political connotations to what has happened. But does that cut any ice?
See, the political, the kind of comments the chief minister had to answer a query, maybe. But no query in an assembly answered for 1.5 hours, close to 90 minutes on one single issue. And why should you take it personal? You are running a government, or head of the government. We understand that the chief minister is bound to explain, being the home minister in the assembly. But that should not create the further issues. That should not see. Even I agree to certain extent with Mr. Srinivas Reddy that the actor also should not have swiftly reacted and gave his version. Fine, because the matter is sub judice, and both the sides would have maintained some kind of decorum in this entire issue. Unnecessarily, now that this attack, where from this attack has happened, what provoked them? You tell me. When did it happen? This has clearly happened after the speech in the assembly. Then Allu Arjun's retort to it. All these things actually are creating unwanted situation in the city and law and order situation also. So all are equally responsible in creating such a unwarranted situation in the state. At least now the state government let wisdom prevail instead of supporting your own or defending your own acts. Now let the legal team of your government or let the legality take its own course. Let the police do a proper investigation, fair probe. If he is found guilty, punish him. But why is hunting?
And the investigation needs to happen against the police also, many would say, because the allegation is also that the police mishandled the situation, that they should have handled it better. But I'll get to that and I'll get Deshwata Nigam in on that. But Kasturi Shankar also joins us on this edition. Kasturi Shankar, do you believe that Allu Arjun is somewhat of a soft target? He's being politically targeted by the state government there?
Well, I was the lost life, but now I think, yes, the situation has deteriorated to a point where it's a tutu meme. So everybody is trying to clear their name, their responsibility from this very unfortunate incident. And at this point, Hyderabad is divided. I'm here. All of Andhra and Telangana are divided on political lines, on emotional lines. And personally, I feel the police and the government should start. I think it would be more constructive if they started focusing on more important priorities, but because for the past near 3 days now, this is the only topic of discussion. And frankly, people have started talking. They've started talking, why is this such a big tug of war between an actor and the state? Why is this even such a big issue? Would any other crime get this kind of a spotlight? So then why a huge press conference by the police? Why all this? So I feel like it's not doing any favors to the government. And
but Kasturi Shankar, the argument that the state government makes is that just because he's an actor or a celebrity, why should he get the long rope?
Yeah, but just because he is an actor, that you can ask the same thing backwards, right? Does any other criminal or any other accused person in any part of the state get a press conference from the police? Do they get explanations from the chief minister in the assembly? Why so much of focus on this particular homicide then? Why? So there seems to be something more than that, just justice at play. I feel at least there are many conspiracy theories here. People are saying that there is a personal agenda, there is a political agenda, there is a cross-state political agenda. People have started talking so many ways. I feel it is time to let the police do its job, let Allu Arjun live his life, and let priorities be taken care of. There's a guy selling methamphetamine in every corner of the state. Come on, let's get some news about that.
So the state government and the police seems to be fixated on this particular case. But Deshwata Nigam, if there are questions that are being asked of the police's conduct or the local administration's conduct that night when the stampede took place, or whether or not they were prepared enough to deal with a situation like this, shouldn't there be an investigation against that as well? The police can't be probing themselves. There has to be an outside inquiry that is conducted for impartiality, to ensure that if there was something amiss on either side, then all of it does come out.
Yes, police, you cannot be a judge in your own cause. That's one of the dictum of our jurisprudence. And therefore, if a police is investigating itself, so there will be, even if they are impartial, tomorrow there will be questions raised with respect to prejudice and bias. And therefore, inquiry not only should be impartial, it must appear to be impartial. Therefore, some independent body or retired high court judge or somebody should come in, and in fact, it will be in the interest of the government of the day also, so that their name is also cleared if the police has done everything. Now, if there are problems with the police, if they have not performed their duty, I am sure the government is capable of pinpointing it, bringing it to the court, and the court can also here give directions to the government for an impartial inquiry, because police certainly cannot be, inquiring its own self. So that aspect needs to be taken care of. Otherwise, tomorrow the questions would arise that police was biased, they didn't want to investigate, and therefore they have diverted. So it is in the interest of the government also to have an impartial inquiry about the police and police's conduct. And if they have not done anything, their name would be cleared.
Srinivas Reddy, has this become a tug of war between the state government and the actor?
There's nothing
And not
of
so
that
much
sort.
about the crime?
There's nothing of that sort as a tug of war between the actor and the government. The government is doing its job, police is doing its job. They are trying to, they have, the case has been filed against the accused in the Sandhya Theatre issue. Case has been filed against the people who have vandalized. And we should allow them to do their job. And if the chief minister has answered to a query, there was no need for the actor to come out and address the media. Because the actor had addressed the media, probably the police wanted to clear themselves and they have released the video. So it is all, it's a chain of events which is taking place, which should not be done actually. Frankly speaking, something of this sort
It's
should not be
interesting you say that it's
happening.
a chain of events, but the chain of events started with the chief minister saying what he
Chief
said
Minister,
on the floor of the
he's
assembly.
doing his
But
role.
sure, fair enough. Fair enough. It is now a matter that is sub judice. The courts will have to decide whether there is any case against Allu Arjun if the charges that were invoked against him were excessive, which is what many legal experts believed back then as well. And is this really a political witch hunt that we're seeing against the actor? I have to leave it there. I thank you all for joining us here on this edition of Plain Speak.